Welcome to r/Bestof Redditor updates, where OP's wife suddenly goes psycho and decides to murder all of his Star Wars figurines. Our next Reddit post is from r/relationship advice. I'm a 31-year-old man, and my 37-year-old wife will no longer let me pursue my hobbies. Exactly as the title implies, my wife says that I'm not allowed to pursue my own hobbies anymore as they're unhealthy. Before our marriage 7 months ago, I was interested in all sorts of things. Playing video games for at least a few hours per week, collecting Star Wars figures. Some may say that's a bit childish, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. Painting Warhammer 40k, etc. These are things I'd done since my early teens. My wife wanted us to make healthy lifestyle changes after our marriage, which at first I took as just eating healthier, exercising, etc. I was totally on board for it. Everything was fine, until I went down to the basement one day and noticed all my Star Wars figures gone from the display shelf. All that remained were some limbs from a few of the figures. My wife was at work, so I sent her a text asking what happened to them. In the meantime, I rummaged through all the garbage and finally found the figures in the bigger garbage next to the garage. Most of my cards were torn up, and the figures dismembered, while others were completely burned or melted. What? I took a picture and sent it to her, asking if she did it. That night, after not replying to any of my texts, I confronted her. It turned into a huge argument about how my hobbies are immature and that she was repulsed by them, even threatening to not passionately hug me until I gave them up. In the heat of the moment, I agreed with her, if only to get her to stop yelling at me. We haven't talked about it since, and I've unfortunately been abiding by her rules for the past 7 months, though I've been secretly playing video games, buying figures, etc. She only found out about it one time, and she destroyed it immediately. I can't keep this up any longer. I want to have my own hobbies without her getting upset. What's the best way to bring this subject up again, and how can I let her know how much my hobbies mean to me? The comments are basically people saying, yo, you're 31, not 13. She doesn't get to control your life like this. Also, this is abusive and crazy. Stealing all of your figures is bad enough, but why did she have to treat it like a horror movie, where she ripped off their limbs and melts their faces off? It's like some kind of slasher flick. What? Then, the next day, OP posted an update. I'm currently at my best friend's house, drafting an email to send to my lawyer first thing in the morning. I decided to hook my Xbox up to the living room television and gauge what my wife's reaction would be when she came home from work and saw me playing. She immediately went to our bedroom and slammed the door. I walked in on her angrily texting something on her phone before she screamed at me that I was going back on my promises and that playing games is unhealthy. I kept telling her that I deserve to have my own hobbies, and she told me that no real husband has those kinds of hobbies. I basically told her that she was free to go find a real husband, and I packed a small bag and drove to my friend's house. I feel kinda relieved, but also sick to my stomach. Then OP posted another update. My wife has been texting me nonstop, asking where I went and telling me to come back to the house. She even claimed that she was pregnant and that I was abandoning my own child, only to backtrack a few minutes later. I'm making sure to save all these texts in case my lawyer thinks that they could come in use. Then, 2 days later, OP posted an update. I spent the morning talking to my family and a few of my other friends about the situation. They all agreed that a divorce needs to happen, whether or not she's mentally ill. My sister said that she had a bad feeling about her, but saw how happy I was and didn't want to impose at the time. My lawyer has suggested not to confront or communicate with my wife until divorce proceedings can be put in motion. I'm currently going to my house while she's at work to gather my valuable belongings. Then, 2 months later, OP posted an update. The divorce proceedings are currently underway. My ex-wife has been incredibly apologetic for not only the main incident in my post, but also for how she's been treating me in general. She's also agreed to pay me a lump sum for the figures. We came to a mutual agreement in terms of the value. Overall, she's been acting surprisingly reasonable throughout all this. I feel like this is a positive turning point in my life. Thank you all for giving me the courage to finally take action. You know, the ironic thing about this post is, hold on, what was the line? What did she say? My wife wanted us to make healthy lifestyle changes after our marriage. Well, OP did exactly that by cutting his toxic wife out of his life. I can give you this tip from someone who's been in a happy marriage for over a decade. The easiest thing you can do to make your partner happy is just let your partner have hobbies. You don't even have to participate in them most of the time, just let them do the thing that they like. Our next Reddit post is from r/relationship advice. My husband, who's 34, has developed something in IT that's well known, and it made him rich. I'm a 38-year-old woman, and I'm a chef, and I make probably 1% of what he makes. It doesn't matter to me, however, because I love my job. We have a great life together. We had our first child, a baby girl, 3 years ago, and our twin boys are 9 months old. I have a few months left of my maternity leave, and with the country closing up again because of the new Omicron variant, I started getting worried that my workplace won't take me back. I voiced my worries to my husband a couple of days ago, and he just shrugged and said it's not like we need the money. I was confused and told him that I knew that. It wasn't about the money. He just shrugged. I was a bit annoyed, to be honest, because I thought he didn't think that it was a big deal that I became out of work. Yesterday, I was still thinking about it, so I decided to talk to him again. He was confused and told me that I should instead be happy that I could spend more time with my babies. And he asked me why I insisted on working when we have 3 small children and that he made enough money for both of us. He didn't like me working 4 to 5 evenings a week, including 1 to 2 weekends a month. I told him that I love my job and that I'm good at it. I've been doing it for almost 20 years now, and that just the thought of not doing anything for the rest of my life is suffocating. He was visibly upset by then, and he accused me of loving my job more than my babies and him. I could always cook at home for the family, and if I was worried that I would lose my independence, he could transfer the same amount that I earn from my job to my private account monthly. I started crying, and he kissed and hugged me and told me that he loved me, but he's been thinking of this since our girl was born, and he didn't like me coming home late at night. So I needed to choose between my job or being a family. I was startled. Did he mean that as an ultimatum? He did. He actually wants me to be a housewife or we go our separate ways. I went to my mom's place first thing in the morning. She listened to me talking and crying, but when I finished, she wasn't indignant on my behalf, like I expected. She was silent for a while, and then she asked me to think carefully about my next move. If we got divorced, I need to think about my babies. I will never be able to give them the life that their dad is giving them, and I might lose them because of it. Is it worth it to change their lives so drastically and to have them live in 2 separate houses? All that for a job? I've worked my whole adult life, and I could just see this as an early retirement. Many dreamed of this. Why couldn't I enjoy it? I was expecting my mom to say these things. She's always been this strong, independent woman who raised us to be independent and taught me to never rely 100% on anyone other than myself. Hearing her say all that made me question my feelings. Before I met her, I was totally sure that I was right being hurt and angry, but now I think maybe I'm overreacting and that my husband's request wasn't that unreasonable. But if that's the case, why do I feel like my heart is swollen in my throat? Why does it feel like he made this ultimatum because he knew he has power and he's using it? Then 2 weeks later, OP posted an update. I've had long talks with my husband about all of what happened, trying to understand his point of view. I've told him that I can't see myself as a housewife, ever, but that I'm willing to start looking for jobs with better hours or that I can finally start my own restaurant. I could see searching for a location in office buildings and start a lunch spot, so then I don't need to work evenings or weekends. He didn't seem happy at all with that suggestion. He asked me why I'm so insistent on going back to work. He said these last months have been the happiest of his life coming home from work every day to his family, and that he thought that I'm happy too. I am. I love being with my babies all day, but just because I'm enjoying my maternity leave, it doesn't mean that I don't want to go back to work. In fact, I'm enjoying every minute now because I know it's not permanent. We had a fight. He said that he's always felt that I'm scared of him making much more money and that I'm scared of being dependent on him. So if I'm insisting on working because I don't want to be dependent, he could pay me 10 times what I earn to stay home. I started crying and told him that I'm not going to be a housewife. And I don't accept ultimatums, so he should do what he felt fit. He said he's tired of going around feeling that his wife is intimidated by his success. He's doing this for both of us. I have to admit that I'm sometimes scared of him having more power than me. He said it's all in my head, but really, would he ever dare to ask me to quit my job if he didn't feel that he had the power to do it? Could I ask him to quit his job with the same ease? There's no denying the power dynamics in our relationship, and I have all the right to be scared of it. There was no progress, really, and no matter how much I explain myself, he doesn't seem to understand me. And probably he feels the same way about me. It feels like we're on different levels. I've suggested counseling, and he said that he'll think about it. Now we're just civil to each other, but we don't talk much, and we haven't been intimate since I first brought up going back to work. I love him, and I miss him. I don't want it to end, but the ball is in his court now. My mom is very angry with me. We haven't spoken for a week. I don't know what to do with her either. Then, 1 week later, OP posted an update. My husband and I talked yesterday for the first time in 2 weeks, and he was the one who initiated the conversation. I saw my chance to try to find out why he's behaving like this, and at the same time, make sure that he knows that I'm not backing down. I told him that while I'm enjoying my maternity leave, the thought of it being for the rest of my life suffocated me. I suffer from severe claustrophobia. I don't know if this has anything to do with it. I asked him why he's doing this. He knew my job was important to me, so why was he making this impossible request when he knew that it would mean the end of us? I said, if you're having second thoughts about our marriage and want an out, please just tell me the truth. He became very upset and accused me of trying to gaslight him. He said his reasons are legit. There's nothing wrong with wanting his wife to be there for her family, and the children won't stop needing me just because they went to school. I started crying. Sorry, I'm a crybaby. And I told him if it's over, he should know that it's all on him. He started yelling, "No, it's because you're too stubborn and too self-involved to actually take a second and think about his wishes." I wanted to leave because I couldn't be with him anymore, but he said that it would be more convenient if he did. He moved to our city apartment. I feel lost and hurt. I love him so much, but I don't think continuing this relationship is healthy for either of us. My heart is breaking for my children. I don't know what to do. For now, I'll just sit tight and wait for him to send me divorce papers. P.S. My mom was here yesterday. We talked a lot, and she's finally getting on my side. I knew that when it came to it, she would be on my side, and I'm so grateful. Then, 1 month later, OP posted an update. My husband and I are separating. That is what he wants. As I suspected, this was more than just about me going back to work. He's been feeling resentment towards a lot of things about me. Many of them I can't change, and the rest I don't want to change. It's not his or my fault. We're just not compatible with each other anymore. I still have 14 months with my babies. Afterwards, all children are big enough for shared custody. I'm staying in the big house for now, but after divorce, I'm going to move back to the city. I've been talking to my boss about my job. She will help me find a schedule around having the children, so maybe I'll work lunch hours the weeks that I have them. My ambition is still to open my own restaurant, but maybe a bit further in the future. I still love him. I thought that we were inseparable, but when he started resenting the very same things that he loved about me, I knew that this was hopeless. It sucks big time and hurts like hell, but here we are. Down in the comments, people are comparing this to the story of Justine Musk, who was Elon Musk's first wife, and apparently they had this exchange. Justine said, "I'm your wife, not your employee," and Elon Musk said, "If you were my employee, I'd fire you." So there definitely is a trend of tech bros hitting it big and becoming multimillionaires and then immediately dumping their wives. I think Bezos did the same thing. So yeah, I didn't think this was about the whole family work thing. I think it was just, I don't know, I guess when you hit it big, something switches in your brain and you become an egotistical jerk, I suppose. I know a lot of people probably listen to OP's story and think that OP sounds kind of crazy because it's like, yo, girl, you hit it big, you're rich, retire, do whatever you want, go to vacation in Bali. But I really sympathize with her because I have to work. I don't mean work to make money. I have to do something. I have to be working on something, making something, building something. If I don't, I go actually crazy and I get really grumpy. So, everyone needs to have their outlets. For some people, that's working. That was r/Best of Redditor updates. And if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.